Well, we are gearing up for the federal budget to be unveiled later today. Of course, we already got a sense of at least some of the spending tied to this fiscal update. One of the big questions, of course, will be how the government will pay for some of the promises we've heard about recently. Now, the Liberal government has ruled out raising taxes on the middle class, but we've seen a flurry of reports about tax hikes for corporations and the wealthy over the last 24 hours. But let's get into what the federal Liberals have announced so far. So over the last few weeks, the government unveiled billions of dollars in housing investments. That includes $15 billion for apartment construction loans, $6 billion for the Canada Housing Infrastructure Fund. They have also announced $1.5 billion for rental protection, $600 million for new home building innovation measures, and a $400 million top-up for the Housing Accelerator Fund. Beyond housing, other pre-budget announcements have included $8 billion over 5 years as part of a long-term defense policy update. The government recently announced nearly $2.5 billion for AI innovation and infrastructure. That alongside a suite of measures for children and youth. So those are some of the announcements, but we do want to get some business perspective on this budget day. Joining us here in studio, Pierre Lassonde, Chair Emeritus at Franco-Nevada. Great to have you back with us. What's top of mind for you on a day when we're talking about the outlook for Canada's economy?
Well, it's the missing piece of the budget is increasing productivity in Canada. I mean, that is really the issue that we have. If you look at our dollar, our currency reflects the health of a nation. Our currency now is at 72 cents to the US dollar. It's sick. And apart from the $2 billion of investment in AI, I don't see anything in this budget that will help productivity, Canadian increased productivity, so that we can have better pay, we pay more taxes. The budget is all about rectifying mistakes that were made in the last budget. Okay, like we let 4 million people in a country of 36 million over a 2-year period. What do you think happens? So I don't see anything in the budget that's going to help Canada get back on its feet.
What would be some examples of things that would get us into, the kind of direction you think we need to be?
Well, the natural resource industry is 15% of Canada's economy. Invest in the Canadian natural resource sector. We're the second largest land mass in the world. We have enormous amount of resources. Simplify the whole procedure to get a project going. Okay, all the timelines are like being stretched out. You don't have to give the industry money. All you have to do is make it more efficient, which is what, we're all crying for.
Yeah, and there was some reporting around, as I mentioned, possible taxation measures. The Globe and Mail was reporting that the Finance Department had initially considered a surtax this year on oil and gas producers, similar to a levy we saw on some of the financial companies last year. We don't know where the things ended on that. A source did say the department opted to drop that plan because there was a lot of opposition to it. But what would you say on the subject of taxation right now?
Well, I hear that they are planning to, put a surtax on the wealthy, for example. Well, anything over 50% tax, it's confiscation. And if you look at France as a good example, 15 years ago, they created, a wealth tax. 10,000 Frenchmen moved out of the country in 2 years, and they had to abandon it. Okay, and there's not 10,000 billionaires in France. Okay, so you're talking of people that were reasonably wealthy that moved out. What do you think is going to happen in Canada? Same thing's going to happen. You're going to lose your top taxpayers. You're not going to help yourself.
Any suggestions on the taxation front? I heard David Dodge, the former Bank of Canada governor, who is against some of the taxation measures that have been floated over the last day or so, talking about, a consumption tax. Like, if obviously we have to find a way to generate tax revenue to address the fiscal picture, whether it's this government or a future government, like, what would be the proposal there that makes the most sense for all Canadians?
Well, what makes the most sense is cut the expenditures, okay? Like, stop spending. Okay, that's a lot easier than, keep on taxing people. Like, there's a limited revenue pool that you can draw from. So, stop spending.
Yeah, and I guess when it comes to investing in this country, you're on the front lines of that. You have business interests that rely on investment into Canada, but you also are someone who can make decisions on where to invest capital as well. What do those dynamics look like right now?
Well, they're not that favorable for Canada simply because of the taxation regime. It's much cheaper to go invest in Nevada or go invest in Mexico or Chile, and where you get preferential treatment, to be honest with you, and where it's much easier to do business.
Do you feel at the end of the day confident about the road ahead for Canada's economy? Like we can get this right, we can be a place that attracts a lot of global investment and improve on some of those productivity gaps that are often brought up?
I mean, just look at our pension funds. They have taken over $2.5 trillion of money outside of Canada for the last 20 years. So if we don't invest in our own country, who will? That's a very simple question. Who will invest in Canada when we don't even have the confidence to invest in Canada? And what are the pension funds saying? Well, much better to invest outside Canada. Yeah. You got to rectify that situation.
That I'm trying to figure out that as well, because you heard a lot of pushback from the pension funds themselves saying that, we're serving Canadians and we're trying to find the best returns overall. In some circles, people had said, one place that there is common ground, we're talking about a transition, particularly in mining and energy. You need all this infrastructure for that transition. Obviously, they're working on that in the United States as well. Some of these pension funds are investing in those kind of projects worldwide. Maybe they could invest more in those kind of projects in Canada. Would that be a fair trade-off, do you think, to see more pension funds investing in the same areas that the industries tied to commodities have to invest in already?
Yeah, I mean, look, the people who run the pension fund, they have a lot more fun flying to London and, Sydney, Australia, and all the capitals of the world, and they have, self-important meetings and whatnot, instead of going to Sudbury and Timmins and all of these Canadian places. So I don't have much time for the crying that they have. They have to put, their money back into Canada.